And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the expansion for smartphone. So the new version of Smartphone Inc. just came out. This is the Dice Tower Essentials. So just so you know, Dice Tower Essentials is a line of games that I'm working with Arcane Wonders, that I think are fantastic, amazing games. And this one here, originally from Cosmodrome Games, well, still from Cosmodrome Games, a joint production between them and Arcane Wonders. So we did an unboxing of this on Dice Tower Unboxing, so you can see what's in the new one, and I've reviewed the game. Hasn't changed much. They've upgraded the components on our channel. Today we're going to take a look at the expansion for the game, Update 1.1 for smartphone. Let's see what it adds. The first thing this expansion adds is a 2 to 3 player board. So this is the biggest thing really here. Smartphone is a fantastic game, but it can be kind of too big of a board for fewer players. This brings it down to a much smaller board. In fact, you'll have fewer technology tiles here. In fact, the game says you can play that with more players. I personally would not do that. You also have some spots on the board where there are buyers who will do different things. This one will buy a phone for 6 or less, or using that technology. So you also can see it's a different map. It's mostly just North America. Still have the same spot for technologies at the bottom. Speaking of technologies, there are 10 new technologies, 5 tiles, 2 technologies per tile, that you're going to be able to use and mix and match. And in fact, the rules have some, ideas of which ones you can use. This one here, a great one, you can ignore the requirements and sell to any buyers in a region with your CEO in it. So you have these new CEO pieces that you'll use if this technology or the one on the other side is in play. And so this side here, basically you can spend tokens to move your CEO to any other region. Then you can sell phones where that CEO is. You don't need to have a retailer there. Here, if you have the CEO and retailer in the same region, you can sell phones, any phones you want in that region. So it's pretty cool. This one here, and let's zoom in a little bit. This one here lets you produce 2 extra phones for each patent you hold. So the more technologies you have, that's pretty powerful. In fact, the rule book says you might not want to play with these in a 2 to 3 player game because they're pretty powerful. Here you can sell an extra phone to one buyer that buys a technology you hold. So if you have technologies, you can sell 2. You just stack the cubes on top of each other, and that also counts for a control bonus. This one is my favorite of the new technologies. It says take a mini improvement. So you have 5 mini improvements that come with the game, and you just get one of these. One of the leftover ones, so whoever gets his first gets one of these. These are fantastic. Like I said, this is probably my new favorite technology. On the other side, you can place up to 2 phones on trucks or symbols. Each one gives you an extra technology this round. Okay, that's cool, but like I said, I almost always use the other side. This one here lets you place an unused retailer on the board. And this one here, you can use one of these tokens here, a marketing token, to place you use one of these staircases as a marketing token, and you put it on top of a buyer, and you're the only person who can sell to that buyer. And then this one here, you can pick a region. You get 2 victory points for every phone you sell in one region of your choice. And on the other side, you get an extra phone for every region you control. So these are the new techs that are included in this game. Definitely adds a lot more variety to the game. There's a directives module that's included in this expansion. There are 24 directives in the game. You turn over a certain amount of them based on the number of players. You can accomplish 1 directive per turn if you meet the requirements. So maybe you have a retailer in 2 different size L regions. Maybe you discard 4 or more unsold phones in one round. Maybe you lower your price to 2. Whatever it is, if you pull it off, and turn order matters here, you can take one of these tiles. It's worth 12 points. So you can get at most 60 points from these over the course of the game. At the end of the round, you turn it over to show that you've taken one that round. Because, again, you might get one, no one else gets it, but so you might want to take something else that somebody else might be able to get later on. These, again, are going to change from game to game. There's quite a few of them in here, and that's one of the modules this game adds. The final module the game adds is Hardcore Mode Rules. This adds interest that you can add to the game to make things more difficult as you go through. I haven't played with this because I just don't want the game to be harder. I feel like the game's difficulty is good where it's at, but if you want more, it's here. Excellent components. The board is fantastic. My only complaint about the components is the black piece stays in. The other ones, these little CEOs, which are fine, these little dudes here, they don't stay in their bases, so if you move them, you'll probably have to pick the base up along with them. Other than that, it's fine. It does not fit in the original box. Well, you could fit everything in except the board, but the board won't fit in very easily. The rule book's really nicely written, has everything in here. Like I said, it has these recommended technology sets that you can use. So overall, good components. So there you have it. That's what's in this expansion. Is it necessary? If you have 2 to 3 players, I would say yes. You can play smartphone, obviously, on a board, and I've played smartphone many times, especially with 3 players. And I don't mind it at all, but after playing on this board, you're like, ooh, a much tighter board. And of course, you can make it even harder with the hardcore rules, not for me. The new technologies, well, of course. I love having more technologies in this game. The more variety between text, the more each game's going to feel different. The goals that you can get, I can take or leave those. They're fine. I mean, it gives you something different to go for. And that's pretty much it. So do you want the 2 to 3 player board? You got to get this expansion. Do you want the more technologies? You probably want this also. The other stuff is just like extra icing on the cake, but it's not that hard. This isn't going to change the game dramatically, other than the texts are going to change, how you play each one. So most of you who own smartphone are probably got this expansion anyway, but if you haven't, it's certainly one to consider for sure. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment. Excellent!